Protesters braved the rain today as they fought for the removal of Confederate symbols on campus.
See where Students Against Social Injustice marched and what they had to say coming up next.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Maddie Sabourin.
And I'm Haley Cook.
Sassy scheduled a march today in order to protest pro-Confederate statues on campus.
This is right before the Mississippi Stands rally happening tomorrow afternoon in the Circle, led by Confederate 901 and the Highwaymen.
NewsWatch reporter Gracyn Ashmore is live from Yerby Hall, where that march started this afternoon. Gracyn?
Maddie, Haley, the Sassy group and participants lined up today under this awning in order to march all the way to the Confederate statue in the Circle. Now participants and members of the group are telling us why they came out to march today.
I feel like the university is approving the behavior, the hate behavior that is being against the brown and black people. You know, let's let go of the past, let's move forward. You know, let's try to love each other, not hate each other. You know, if we're going to be in the same environment, we have to learn to respect and appreciate each other's feelings. So if it's something that's hateful and people have to see it, it should be taken down.
Sassy's here to advocate and pressure administration for the removal and relocation of all Confederate memorabilia on this campus. We believe in justice for everyone, all oppressed groups and marginalized groups, and we have power as students on this campus to make that change, so that's what we're going to do.
Last night, a member of the Highwaymen, Billy Sessions, posted a video on their Facebook page saying that he would become violent if needed in order to get his message across. Now, this actually canceled classes in the sociology and anthropology departments on campus, and they also said that if any classes took part in Lamar afternoon, that they should either be relocated or canceled altogether. Now, there were no counter protests today during this march, but tomorrow, me and NewsWatch's Matthew Henley will be covering the protest in the Circle on campus, so stay with us as we will give you live updates throughout the day. Reporting in Yerby, Gracyn Ashmore, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Gracyn. And the city of Oxford is on edge as university officials prepare for the arrival of two pro-Confederate groups planning to protest on campus tomorrow. NewsWatch reporter Paris Payne has more.
Tomorrow, the square will be transformed as protesters gather around the Confederate statue. We tried to reach out to multiple businesses for comment this week, but many of them didn't want to talk. Soulshine Pizza manager Davis Brown doesn't think business will be affected.
I think it's going to be like a normal Saturday, really. We've got a home basketball game, and it's a preview weekend for high school students on campus. And I think that people are still going to want to come out in spite of the protests going on.
Brown also says that they are taking extra precautions.
We're going to make sure that all management is on staff all day. We'll also have additional security here just to ensure the safety of our customers and our employees.
Despite having two pro-Confederate groups rallying right here tomorrow afternoon, OPD says this will be just like any other Saturday. However, crisis communication expert Debbie Hall says otherwise.
Because the University of Virginia happened, we know that it's not just another rally. We know that we have to be mindful of safety.
Hall, who teaches crisis communications at Ole Miss, says that it's impossible to forget that a pro-Confederate demonstration got violent in Charlottesville in 2017. She would have liked to see Oxford and the university respond differently.
First thing I would have told them is that they needed to have jointly made a statement to the public as a whole. The university has done a really good job of communicating internally with students, with faculty, and with staff. However, I have not seen anything that was an official statement to the media so that it goes out to the public at large.
Hall is using all of this as a learning experience for students. It may be a lesson for the city and the university too. Paris Payne, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
For those interested in staying on top of what's happening on campus tomorrow, University Communications recommends visiting olemiss.edu/updates.
And the two groups, Confederate 901 and the Highwaymen, are coming to show support for the statues and memorials on campus. The Mississippi Stands rally is their way of spreading a message.
You know, they contextualized the flag. They took the state flag down. You can't play Dixie anymore, which is the fight song for the university. They took Colonel Reb away, and, you know, nobody's really said anything or done anything about the issue. And we feel like we don't have a voice as a conservative Mississippian, especially even that we voted on the issue with the flag. There's still people demanding that we change the flag. I mean, it's just a whole gambit of issues, you know.
Also in the interview, Johnson says that they will be present, rain or shine, and that there will be no violence unless they are attacked. And while we saw counter-protests yesterday and today, the main events will happen tomorrow. NewsWatch reporter Jyesha Johnson is live in studio with the latest updates about what we know so far. Jyesha?
Thanks, Maddie. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this weekend, but there are some things we do know. Tomorrow, the Mississippi Stand Rally is scheduled to begin at 1 p.m. starting in the square. From there, protesters will march to the Confederate Monument in the circle. According to this map the Oxford Police provided, they will have metal detectors there for protesters to walk through before they enter into protest sites. These sites are marked here on the map as green and blue areas. There will be metal detectors for counter-protesters to walk through before they enter the circle, which will be opposite of the pro-Confederate protests. For safety measures, a police buffer will surround the protesters under the Confederate statue. For those concerned about what areas to avoid during this time, University Avenue and University Circle will be the only areas affected on campus during the protests. The rest of campus should be unaffected. There's a safe zone in Foley Hall for students and faculty if needed. Be sure to keep it with NewsWatch all day tomorrow as we will continue to give you the latest updates. Haley, back to you.
Thanks, Jyesha. And just like Jyesha said, be sure to follow NewsWatch on our social media pages tomorrow for updates on all the events happening around campus. Just search NewsWatch Ole Miss on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And while you're at it, be sure to follow the Daily Mississippian on social media too. Just search the Daily Mississippian on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well.
And on top of the protest scheduled tomorrow, Ole Miss Athletics is holding a town hall meeting to hear fans' comments about the department. SportsWatch reporter Reagan Tramel is live in the newsroom with some reactions from students. Reagan?
Thanks, Maddie. Have some questions or concerns you'd like to have answered in regards to your favorite Ole Miss athletics program? Well, you're in luck this weekend. There will be a town hall meeting taking place here in Oxford tomorrow, allowing those in attendance to be openly candid and asking questions and have discussions on all things Ole Miss athletics. Athletics Director Ross Bjork will be leading the meeting, and apart from discussing strategic plans for the athletics department and providing financial overviews, he will be talking about what I'm sure most fans find most important, the recently concluded NCAA case. Students also share with us their opinions on how they would like to see more recognition from sports teams on campus. Here's a further look into what some students would like to see discussed at the meeting.
Even though the football program didn't go how was expected this year, I know Ross Bjork will get it back on track for next season, and we have high hopes for the baseball team and the basketball team. We're doing well in both of those sports.
I don't keep up with sports very well. It's not something I do very well, and so to have a way to find out about Ole Miss athletics in such an easy and concise way is something I'm really looking forward to.
I feel like football season should be a lot better because I think the actual community vibe off the football team as well, because if we didn't have a good season, you can see that the vibe on the square wasn't the same, the crowd on the square wasn't the same. Now that we're in the spring semester with the basketball team doing well, baseball, I can see that the square and the community, everything is more evolved, and it's just picking up the energy and everything.
At the meeting, I think they should talk about the new coaching staff for Ole Miss football, heavily focus on NCAA sanctions, especially the wins. It's all over social media, like how they were taken away. New coaching staff, what are the goals?
I'd like to see some of the other less popular sports get some more light, like football does. You know, I feel like they're pretty underappreciated, like track and field especially. Tennis. We gotta give those athletes some more glory, you know.
So I hope the town hall meeting provides clarification on the NCAA investigation for students and Ole Miss fans in general.
Okay, so these meetings have been taking place all throughout the month of February throughout the Mississippi region, but again, tomorrow's meeting will be taking place here in the Manning Center on campus. It is open to all public and all alumni, fans, and students are encouraged to go. And SportsWatch reporter Rebecca Donaldson will have a full recap on Monday's show. Back to you, Haley.
Thanks, Reagan. And if you stepped outside at any time today, you probably heard and saw lots of rain, maybe even some flooding due to all the rain we've seen this week. Some roads have even closed due to flooding in Lafayette County. And with everything happening tomorrow, Oxford can also expect threats of some severe weather. StormWatch reporter Kayla White is live in the studio with the latest updates for your Saturday weather. Kayla?
Well, thanks, Haley. Yeah, if only Oxford needed one more thing happening this weekend. But on top of all the rain that we've seen this week, tomorrow we're under an enhanced chance for severe weather. So take a look at this graphic that was sent out by the National Weather Service in Memphis this afternoon. As you can see in Oxford, right in the middle, Oxford is right in the middle of the enhanced weather destruction zone. And what exactly does that mean? Well, the main threats are continued flooding and damaging winds, but a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out. Some hail is also possible. Oxford is now under a flash flood warning until Sunday at midnight, and some local rivers are also under flash flood warnings. But starting tonight, be sure you have ways of receiving weather updates, whether that be through your phone or through weather radio. But coming up on StormWatch, I'll let you know when we can see the sun again. Maddie, back to you.
Thanks, Kayla. Oxford legend William Faulkner is making his presence known at the Chancellor's House. He will be featured at an exhibit opening there on March 6th. It will feature exclusive photos and portraits of Faulkner taken by J.R. Cofield. The Chancellor's House will be dedicating their library to Cofield and renaming it the Cofield Reading Room. The dedication will be at 5:30 on March 5th, and attendance is limited, so those who wish to attend should RSVP to c.odom@chancellorshouse.com. The March 6th exhibit is free and will be open to the public.
And 6 months ago, Mississippi lawmakers voted to legalize a state lottery. But you might be wondering when you get to play. Before anyone gets to scratch off a winning ticket, the Mississippi Lottery Corporation must name a CEO, name a backing law firm, and secure bank financing. The board of directors says that they will have scratch-off tickets up and running by the end of summer 2019. As for crowd favorites like Powerball and Mega Millions, they are working on to open those as soon as possible.
Well, I know for me, when I turned 18, getting a scratch-off ticket was a big deal, so hopefully Mississippi soon-to-be 18-year-olds can look forward to that too.
I agree.
Well, one actor's empire may have just crumbled after he was cut from the popular TV show today.
And it's time to start singing "Oh Canada" in Montana. Stay tuned for that story coming up. But first, Kayla White has your first look at the current conditions.
Thanks, guys. Good evening, Rebels and Hotty Toddy. I'm Kayla, and I have your latest weather update. So it's raining, all right? We got some severe weather moving in, possibly. And if you look at our satellite image, you can see that we got a lot of activity coming into Oxford, okay? So I need you guys to be safe. Now, if you stick with me for Stormwatch, I'll let you know just how to prepare for next week.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Here she comes. I, Krista, take you, Jami, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
Grammy winner and R&B star R. Kelly has been charged with 10 counts of sexual abuse involving at least 3 underage girls. Kelly had previously denied allegations of sexual misconduct for several years prior to his indictment. These charges follow the release of the popular Lifetime documentary series Surviving R. Kelly, featuring women who claimed they were held against their wills in his home and forced to be part of a sex cult. Me Too activists are using the new hashtag #MuteRKelly, calling for music streaming services to remove Kelly songs from their libraries. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft was charged this morning with soliciting sex in a day spa in Jupiter, Florida. This comes after a long investigation that charged over 24 men.
Yes, sir. He is one of the individuals.
Who he is?
That would be Mr. Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots?
Yes, sir.
And what is he being charged with?
He's being charged with the same offenses as the others, and that is soliciting another to commit prostitution.
A spokeswoman for Kraft and the Patriots says that Mr. Kraft denies any allegations of being involved in illegal activity and will not be commenting any further.
And an update surrounding actor Jussie Smollett. The producers of the Fox series say that they will not be writing Smollett's character into the final 2 episodes of the current season of Empire. Smollett filed a police report on January 29th claiming that he was attacked by 2 people who yelled racist and homophobic slurs at him, tied a noose around his neck, and poured an unknown liquid on him. Chicago police announced yesterday that they now have reason to believe the attack was really an orchestrated publicity stunt. Smollett was arrested and released on a $100,000 bond yesterday afternoon. And in military news today, President Trump has agreed to keep about 400 troops on the ground in Syria. The administration withdrew the majority of U.S. troops this past spring. National Security Advisor John Bolton held a meeting with Trump yesterday to ask for troops to maintain a safe zone and an observer task force in the northeastern region of the country. The U.S. is currently working with NATO to create a unified force of roughly 800 to 1,500 troops to monitor the area. The force will aim to minimize the risk of conflict between Turkey and U.S.-backed forces within Syria.
And the latest news in the Robert Mueller investigation. Contrary to previous reports, Mueller is not expected to deliver his report on Russian interference in the 2016 election next week. This investigation has been prominent throughout Trump's time in office, despite both him and Russian officials denying any type of Russian involvement in the elections. 6 chairmen of the committees of the House of Representatives say that when the report is released, it should be made public without delay and to the maximum extent permitted by law.
As for creative solutions to eliminate the national debt, this one takes the cake. A petition started on Change.com offers that the United States should elect to sell Montana to Canada for $1 trillion. This all in order to alleviate some of the debts. The petition has over 15,000 signatures and has even attracted attention from several lawmakers. If this happened, Canada would gain the 4th largest U.S. state in land size.
Well, I think I could think of some less relevant states than Montana to sell to Canada, but I mean, I guess if you got to come up with a way to eliminate the national debt, then you got to do what you got to do, right?
You got to do what you got to do.
Well, it is fitting that the Oscars are Sunday because it doesn't look like award-winning weather is going to show up until then.
And Kayla White will let you know why it might be the only sunny day for next week. Coming up next.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Good evening, Rebels and Hottie Toddy. Thanks for tuning in to Stormwatch. So we're at a wet and rainy 56 degrees with a chance of scattered thunderstorms, light winds, and a high chance of rain. If you look at our satellite image behind me, you can see we have a lot of activity moving into the southeast region, so be aware of that. Looking at our current temperatures, we have South Haven coming up here in just a second at 53, Holly Springs at 54, along with Current, Oxford at 56, and Tupelo at 58. Moving on to tomorrow, things will heat up just a little bit. So South Haven's at 70, Holly Springs below it at 69, and then Current along with South Haven at 70, Oxford at 71, and Tupelo at 72. Moving on to tonight's forecast. It's going to be really wet again. We're at 53 degrees. It definitely will rain, and beware of thunderstorms. And then tomorrow, we got even worse weather. There will be thunderstorms again, so we're going to watch out for that. Stay inside, do what you need to do. Looking at that 5-day forecast, we're going to get a little break from this wet and rainy weather. Sunday through Tuesday, it'll be pretty dry, and then Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be back at it. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kayla. The women's basketball team fell to number 6 Mississippi State at home last night, but there was one shining star for the Rebels who had a big game.
And the baseball team is set to take on Tulane for their first 3-game away series. Find out which players need to step up to get a sweep up next in Sports Watch.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Rebel fans, happy Friday and welcome to Sports Watch. Jason Price here, and just like all this rain, the Lady Rebels basketball team would not go away last night against 6th-ranked Mississippi State. Redshirt senior Crystal Allen tried her best to put the team on her back, dropping 29 points in 30 minutes and going 3 of 6 from behind the arc. Ole Miss kept it close early, but a big third quarter from the Bulldogs would give MSU a 20-point lead going into the fourth. The Rebels hustled from whistle to whistle and lost by only 14 to the 6th-ranked team in the country. Ole Miss looks to bounce back on Sunday when they head to Fayetteville to take on Arkansas at 3 p.m. Your Ole Miss men's basketball team will also be in action this weekend as they look to take care of business against Georgia at home tomorrow. Last time these two teams met, Brian Tyree almost took care of the Bulldogs by himself, scoring a cool 31 in the road win. Ole Miss also controlled the boards in the last meeting, so the Rebels bigs will need to grab rebounds early and often to set the pace. After losing to South Carolina and breaking a 4-game winning streak, Coach Kermit Davis and the Rebs could use a commanding conference home win. Come cheer on the Rebels when the game tips off at 2:30. From the hardwood to the rubber, the Ole Miss men and women's track and field teams are headed to the University of Arkansas for the 2019 SEC Indoor Championships. The men's team is entering the championship weekend ranked 19th in the country, led by second-ranked Waleed Sullivan. Sullivan's mile time is a hasty 3 minutes and 56 seconds and currently holds the 4th fastest time in the SEC for the 800-meter race. Sophomore Shea Taiwo leads the women's team, sitting at 14th in the NCAA and 3rd in the SEC for the weighted toss. Events today end at 7:30 p.m. and the tournament finishes tomorrow at 6:30. And finally, we end on the diamond with your Rebel baseball team traveling to the Big Easy to take on Tulane in their first road series. Ole Miss is coming off a commanding 15-3 win against Arkansas State, and they look to keep their bats hot after earning 19 hits in the last outing. The Rebels are 9th in the nation and 2nd in the SEC in team batting average, so look for consistent hitters like Thomas Dillard to take the pressure off of some of the newer pitchers. Seeing as Tulane is 5-0, Bianco and the squad will need to play their game in order to control the series this weekend. Well, that's all for sports. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at NewsWatch_UM, as SportsWatch reporter Tori Reese will be giving live score updates for tomorrow's game against Georgia at the Pavilion at 2:30 Central Time. Maddie, Haley, back to you.
Thanks, Jason. Well, today is probably Jimmy Buffett's favorite national holiday.
Yep, he'd probably say that it's a picture-perfect day. Find out why up next.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
It's in a great big world.
The story of a pair of lungs that smoked as a teen and never grew to normal size.
My little lungs are gonna need a lot of air for this.
I got this. Smoking as a teen can stunt your lungs.
Ow.
Keeping them little forever.
Better look next year, little lungs.
Friday, or better yet, Fri-yay, means you can kick back and relax. And if you're of age, it also means that you can enjoy a drink. And lucky for you, it's National Margarita Day. There are plenty of ways to make a margarita, but everyone knows the classic formula of Blanco tequila, orange liqueur, lime juice, and salt for garnish.
Restaurants and bars participate too. A couple of known deals in Oxford, Chili's is serving up 3 specialty margaritas for $5 each. And for your sweet tooth, Small Cakes is serving up margarita cupcakes. You can kick the celebration up a notch by also observing National Skip the Straw Day to help protect marine life.
Well, hopefully those of age can enjoy a margarita in the sunshine soon. Are we going to be seeing any sunshine this weekend, Kayla?
You'll have the first part of the week to enjoy a margarita, but after that, it's back to the rain.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Kayla. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Maddie Sabourin.
Be sure to join us here again on air Monday at 5 and on our Facebook live stream. You can also find our show on hottytoddy.com. I'm Haley Cook. Thank you and good night.